best of esteemed speakers, we have Russell Snyman from the anti-treason movement. So I'm going to hand a microphone over to Russell. Thank you, Russell.
Amandla. We speaking power, but do we live power? So far, we are victims of the state. And we not, in fact, I am incorrect. We are victims of government. We are the state. We haven't yet realized that the people are the country. The people are the state. And the people hire government to manage their affairs. Now we have to go back. For me, today was not a social event. Today is not a day that I came here to meet you and socialize. Today is a day that we should take a vow to ourselves and commit to challenge government at the highest level possible. If we do not challenge government at the highest level, and we fight the municipal worker that sweeps the streets, believe me, we're not going to change anything. The world is in need of change. Right now, the world is in need of change. And we have to look back and say, how did we get here? How did we become victims of our own domestic servants? Government is a domestic servant that is hired every 5 years. We pay the government. We can fire the government.
Yes.
We can dissolve parliament.
Yes.
If we have the will. We need to develop the will. When things started in 1994, that the entire community became people that spoke politics, that engaged in politics, that managed to change the way things were run, we thought freedom was coming. But we did not understand freedom wasn't coming. All that happened, we replaced the oppressors. Right now, if you go back, or even if you look at our democratic dispensations, we don't have democracy in its truest sense. What we have is a democratic feudalism, because the kings are still in power. The kings still tell us what to do. The kings can still murder us, and we keep quiet. So the question becomes, who carries the can? Who carries the blame? Do we collectively as society carry the blame because of apathy? Do we carry the blame because of being apolitical? Do we carry the blame by not being involved in the political affairs of the day? If we are apathetic, then we are doomed. I've lost 2 relatives with the jab. They died a week apart. They were healthy, they were fine, but they died. Now, if I took President Ramaphosa, took out a needle and injected him tomorrow with an unknown substance, untried substance, believe me, the security services would pick me up, they throw me in a cell, and they throw away the key. But he does that to us using a much more subtle way of the media. He used that by using the media. He uses that by using, for example, the TV, the print media, all media forms. I mean, even now, if you listen to the radio, I hardly listen to the radio. But I listened to the radio, and they told me, practically, I'm not a man unless I get a jab. Now, if someone says to me, you're not a man unless you commit suicide,
That's terrible.
it would be abhorrent. But they tell me I'm not a man because I never get a jab. It's like saying you're not a man because you don't wear Levi's. That's how commonplace death has become. A radio presenter can tell you, kill yourself.
They're wrong. They're
And
wrong.
we do that. we have become addicted to the media. So the media becomes our God. The media becomes the center from which all destruction emerges. And the media legitimizes what is abhorrent and unacceptable in society. One has to look at government. What is government? We've established that we are the state. We've established that we hire government. We've established that we tell government what to do. We set the agenda. But if we look at government, government has assumed powers that it should not have. Democracy means by the people, for the people. Now it's by the government, for the government, and for the corporation. Now, in our books, I'm the founder of the anti-treason movement. In our books, our government has committed treason.
Yes.
When the government usurped the power of the state and placed itself above the state, that's a coup. You go anywhere in the world and you look at if an organization that is temporary usurps the power of the people that hire it, that's a coup. And that's everywhere in the world, and we haven't yet realized that. For example, the idea that the government can kill the state because we are the state is treason. Anywhere in the world, it's treason, but we haven't realized that, and we haven't gotten angry enough to remove the government. We haven't gotten angry enough to call a referendum and dissolve parliament. We can do that. We can get a caretaker government for 2 years. In 2 years, we organize the political structure. We make sure wholesale corruption is treason. We make sure we change the law. We make sure that everybody is equal before the law. We ensure that we, the people, are in power. If we are powerless as the state, then we have surrendered the power of the state to our servants, the government. If we define government, we have to define its powers, we have to define our powers, we have to define our future. I'm in activism for a long time. About 10 years ago, if you remember, the rhetoric was, another world is possible. Now, we cannot be constantly resisting. We cannot be constantly protesting. We have to go on the aggressive side. We have to begin to look at the enemy, unpack what is the enemy, unpack where the enemy gets its power, and remove the power and remove the enemy.
Yes.
Or we're constantly condemning ourselves to perpetual wars that we cannot win. We have to. We are people. We are thinkers. The advocates of the reset are telling us there's a need for a reset. We are saying to them, there is a reset. You must go.
Yes.
That's the reset.
Yes. Yes.
The corporations have far more power than they should have. We elect a government and they direct the government. They direct the government to kill us. We are the state. If that is the case, what exactly is the purpose of democracy? What is the purpose of saying the people shall govern? The people are not governing. The people shall be victims. If they're saying that, they must say so. And for us, we cannot continue to educate ourselves. We are here to change the world. It might sound anarchistic, but we need a bit of anarchy. Burn it down and build a new system.
Yes. Yes.
The idea that we are ashamed to be anarchists is a terrible idea, because someone else told us who we should be. Someone else told us how we should think. Someone else told us how we should act. And therefore, we are telling each other how to act. People kick you and then tell you how you should respond. No, that doesn't work that way. No one should kick you in the first place.
Yeah.
We have to look at our human rights and say, what are human rights? Are human rights just figments of imagination? Are human rights nice words on paper? Or are human rights the inalienable rights that we are all born with? No one takes them away, no one gives them back to you. You have them, and all you have to do is exercise them. We must exercise our rights. We cannot keep educating ourselves. COVID's like this, the jab is like that, and educate ourselves. All we'll be is educated corpses in the cemetery. The idea is to stop the government. We must not be afraid to say stop the government. I am a business person. I'm not afraid to say fire an irresponsible employee. Fire the government.
Yes.
It's an irresponsible and murderous employee.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the government is doing to us now is criminal.
Yes.
And it's only through us that we allow government to exist. Because if we remove government, there's no government.
Yes.
So why are we allowing it to exist?
Exactly.
We should start talking anarchy. We should start talking
Yes.
removal.
Yes.
We should start talking the dissolution of parliament.
Yes.
We should talk about the president being in jail.
Yes.
So with the minister.
100%.
We should not be afraid.
Absolutely.
Our combined fear is the only thing that's holding us back from changing the world. We once said, another world is possible. Let's make that other world possible. I thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda.
Away to.
Amanda.
Away.